Hello, my name is Rosie Hopkins. I live a good long way from Orkney in Crook of Devon in central Scotland, but I have a very long connection with Orkney, which is probably why I'm sitting here talking to you. I am not a contributor of words to the Orkney News. I'm a contributor of photographs. Not as a photographer, professional photographer, but as somebody who in her later years has just got more and more interested in looking up close and noticing things in nature which are just utterly beautiful. And the beauty is actually part of my connection with Orkney from way, way back. So there are really two threads that come together when I think of Fiona's question, which was, why do you contribute to Orkney News? And there are two threads that have converged in the Orkney News, which is lovely. And I love things that are synchronous and come together with just pure chance. Nearly 50 years ago, and I know that because my son will be 50 next year, my first visit to Orkney, I was pregnant with him. And we stayed in Bursay and fell in love with the island, and my husband and I actually considered quite seriously how we could contribute and how we could live there, and somehow, babies, children and things like that went out the window, and we never did. So it was 30 years before I went back again. But over that time, and in the last three visits, I've accumulated all sorts of things, but there is one bit that kind of ties even all that together, which was walking up Cockburn Street in Edinburgh one day, early for a meeting. So I popped into a bookshop, and this is what I found, was this lovely book that is just said everything that I needed to hear to remind me of how much I loved Orkney. George Mackay Brown, writing poems for Gunny Mobogue's photographs. So you can tell I get quite emotional just sort of thinking about this. I met Gunny, and I remember Tam as well from previous visits, and of course I've met the lovely Sheena as well. And yes, it's not just books that connect me. That thread were bringing away things from Orkney, bringing away the cushion I'm leaning against from the craft shop in Stromness, jewellery I'm wearing, paintings, books, cushions, pottery from the Harry Potter, just so many things, and just loving Hoxha Gallery and the prints that Lila's done. And I think there's one in every room in this house. So there's a huge connection of taking things away from Orkney, and then all of a sudden, after the referendum, that second thread began to kind of come back to roost. And that second thread was to give something back to Orkney. And that was political. It was the Orkney Four. It was the case against Carmichael. It was just getting to know how passionate people were about the importance of honesty and democracy. So I got to know Fiona and said, next time we're up, can we meet? And we did. And coffee led to lunch. So 4 hours later, we said goodbye. And it was very nice. Julia was very hospitable and accepted our orders for meals as they went along. And we've kept in touch. So the next time we went up, stayed in Stromness again, lovely fisherman's cottage, and we met up with Fiona again, and she told us about her dreams for the Orkney News, and I just said, you can have my photographs. If you have any use for them, that's what I do. I take photographs to share with people. The photographs that have been shown have been the fungus and lichen and moss decorations, the seaweed on the pool of Clet beach, and all sorts of other ones that are just natural things, even heralding the beginning, the first vestiges of spring with the hellebore in my garden. And it's anything to, and not to mention the pixie covered in beautiful lichen. But I think that Fiona and I have connected in that idea of that images of beautiful things, natural things, really do pick up something that is important in what we want to share with people. There's news, and the news is lovely, and I get it every morning online, and fascinating articles, and then every now and then there's something, a couple of photographs of mine, and she's sometimes even put an apt quotation with them. So thank you, Fiona, thank you so much for spreading my images and love of nature and my wish to give something back to Orkney. And I would have been there this July if things hadn't gone the way they have for everyone. And hopefully I'll be back. Thank you.